The birth of fingerprint identification. The story begins in 1903 when William West first arrived at Leavenworth Prison. To his shock, a prison staff member insisted that William had been there before. Skeptical, William checked the prison register and was stunned. There, staring back at him, was his own name and photo. The twist? It wasn't him. Another inmate, Will West, looked eerily identical to William, down to their name, almost, in physical features. This bizarre mix-up spurred the adoption of fingerprinting as a foolproof way to identify individuals. Enzo Ferrari and Mesut Ozil, a mind-blowing coincidence. Enzo Ferrari, celebrated for his passion for cars and is the mastermind behind the Scuderia Ferrari Grand Prix team and the iconic Ferrari brand, passed away on August 14, 1988. Just 2 months later, on October 15, 1988, Mesut Ozil was born in Germany. Years down the road, Ozil rose to fame as a soccer superstar. But here's the jaw-dropper: Ozil and Enzo look so alike, it's as if they were carved from the same mold. The 3,000-year-old Egyptian Sphinx and Michael Jackson. Dating back to around 1550 to 1050 BCE, the New Kingdom Sphinx statue has left archaeologists worldwide in awe. With slanted eyes, slightly gaunt cheeks, a thin nose, and delicate lips, this limestone masterpiece bears an uncanny resemblance to none other than the king of pop, Michael Jackson. How could a statue from 3,000 years ago look so much like a modern-day icon? Is there some kind of mystery at play here? The eerie mystery behind two brothers' deaths. This might just be the weirdest coincidence in history. Erskine Lawrence and Neville Eben were brothers, born a year apart. Both met their tragic end riding the same motorcycle, colliding with the same taxi, driven by the same driver, carrying the same passenger, on the same stretch of road. The kicker? These eerily identical accidents happened on the same date exactly 1 year apart. Struck by lightning even after death. Meet Walter Summerford, a British officer who was struck by lightning 3 times. His story goes like this: the first time he was struck during World War I, leaving him paralyzed on one side of his body. Then, he was hit again while on a fishing trip. The third strike took his life in 1924 while he was walking through a park. But the story doesn't end there. 4 years after his death, a lightning bolt struck his grave. Talk about bad luck. Everyone in the choir escaped unharmed by being late. At around 7:25 p.m. on March 1, 1950, a church in Beatrice, Nebraska, was rocked by a massive explosion. Normally, the church choir, made up of 15 members, would start practice at 7:15 p.m. But on the day of the explosion, sheer luck was on their side. Every single member showed up late for personal reasons. In fact, none of them were anywhere near the church when the blast went off. As a result, there were no casualties, and everyone was safe and sound. Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. A year before he passed away, Mark Twain said, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It'll be back next year, and I'm looking forward to going out with it. It would be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't get to go out with Halley's Comet." Mark Twain was born on the exact day Halley's Comet made its appearance in 1835. In 1910, when Halley's Comet returned, Mark Twain did as well. He passed away. Two musical geniuses, George Friedrich Handel and Jimi Hendrix, share an unbelievable connection. Handel lived in the 17th to 18th centuries and was one of the most influential musical minds in the world. He resided at 25 Brook Street, Mayfair, London. Fast forward about 2 centuries, and musical genius Jimi Hendrix moved into 23 Brook Street, Mayfair, London. That means Jimmy lived right next door to George, just in a completely different era. The Titanic sinking and the novel Futility, The Wreck of Titan. Morgan Robertson's novel Futility, published in 1898, tells the story of the Titan, the largest passenger ship in the world at the time, with a capacity of about 3,000 people. In the story, the ship is deemed unsinkable, yet it collides with an iceberg off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, around midnight in April. Only a few hundred lucky survivors manage to escape when the ship sinks due to a lack of lifeboats. What's eerie is that 14 years later, April 1912, the tragic sinking of the Titanic seemed to mirror the events described in Robertson's novel. Even more striking, the Titan and the Titanic were almost identical in size, with the Titanic being just 82 feet longer. Both shipwrecks occurred in April, and both ships carried only the minimum number of lifeboats required by law, leading to staggering death tolls in both disasters.